Okay, you're here and I'm here. If you would like to join us, I will be giving the prayer and Mr. O'Brien will be doing the pledge. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time together. I just pray that you will give us the knowledge to do the work that we need to do in order to make our school district the best in the state. I just praise you for what you've done for us and just give you the glory. I just thank you that we're headed back to school, and I just pray that you will be with our students and our parents and our staff as we start gearing up for another school year. I just pray that you'll be with the Lopez family as they have suffered this terrible loss, and we just lift them up to you and just pray that you wrap your loving arms around them and help us to give them the support that they need during this. Be with us in all that we do and watch out for us and keep us safe. These things I ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Join me in the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll seek approval for the agenda.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
I'll seek approval for the minutes of the regular meeting on the 18th.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Jones hearing this?
Yes, do you not hear me say aye?
Ms. Jones, can you hear us?
Do you hear me say aye?
Oh, okay.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, you hear me now, okay.
Mr. Strickland?
Madam President, members of the board, have for presentation this evening, if you want to join us down in front. We've got Mr. Jose Matas and Mr. Juan Carlos Medina of OBS CTEC.
Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Strickland, staff, parents, students, thank you for allowing us this time to recognize these outstanding groups of students. During the National Skills USA event, our CTE students worked around the clock, providing their experience in occupational occupational skills such as electrical, mechatronics, restaurant service, HVAC, and welding. All the contests ran by Skills USA with the help of industry, trade associations, and labor organizations, testing competencies set by industry. In addition, leadership contests demonstrated their skills in areas such as entrepreneurship, American spirit, promotional bulletin board, and conducting meetings using parliamentary procedure. The annual competition is for middle school, high school, and college students. Skills USA Hobbs High School sent 40 students to participate at the national conference this year. Students demonstrated their expertise and professionalism while participating in a variety of leadership and competitive experiences. Skills USA improves the quality of the nation's future skilled workforce through the development of the Skills USA framework that includes personal, workplace, and technical skills grounded in academics. The organization's mission is to produce the most highly skilled workforce in the world, providing every member the opportunity for career success. Top students receive gold, silver, and bronze medallions. Many also receive prizes and tools and scholarships to further their career in education. Now, I want to highlight a few other accolades before we recognize the girls tonight. We actually had a 5th place winner. So that was the American Spirit Contest. Three of the students that we were able to have here after the state competition, Sina Centeno, Genesis Lozano, and Amelia Villalobos. We had a 7th place finisher in a restaurant service. So beyond the quick casual restaurant, this is fine dining. They place the napkin on your table side Caesar salad. 7th place, Elishama Soto. And then we actually, 2 of my students competed in mechatronics for the first time, placing 8th in the nation during that time. We have three movie stars in our group. So Skills USA for the last 2 years have been doing a docu-series on YouTube called Skills Jam. 3 of our students were selected to be part of that docu-series. Those videos, they actually had a film crew following them during their competitions. Those students were Jose Ramelas, Nathan Pennington, and Efren Martinez. Those videos are currently being made, and those will be on a YouTube docu-series this fall. We also, for the second time in Hobbs High School history, have a national officer. His name is Juan Arona. So just like there are chapter officers and state officers, we have one of 14 national officers in the country. He is currently in Virginia at the Skills USA headquarters there. So he's getting fully trained on how to be a national officer, and it comes with all the perks and all the benefits. He's been sharing some of those pictures and stuff, and we're like, oh my goodness, we're in the big leagues now. And of course, last but not least, I was sharing with Mr. Strickland yesterday that we had our first ever medal in 2019, was a bronze medal in job skill demonstration. Last year, we received our first silver medal ever, which was in Career Pathway Showcase Business Management and Technology. And this year, for the first time in Hobbs High School history, we have earned a gold medal in chapter business procedure. Let's give them a round of applause. Audrey Davidson, go ahead and come on up, girls. Audrey Davidson, Rosie Cavanis, Eileen Pacheco, Abby Rogers, Lillian Sloan, and Elena Valdivia. Don't you just love that sound?
Yeah.
Go ahead, shake their hand. And then their teacher, Cheyenne Mulholland. So they are sporting the latest in Skills USA medal. So they're wearing their state medal, and they're also wearing their national medal. The school also receives a medal in a box that we'll have on display for the school as well. So that is currently in the showcase at CSET.
And if you
Let's
guys
come closer and take pictures.
I want to know what your favorite thing about an animal.
Air conditioning.
This is a girl after my own heart.
We look right up here. Go come this way a little bit. There you go. That losing you between 2 girls. With this big someone's always gonna be blinking.
Congratulations, ladies.
I told you it was gonna be hot.
There's the proclamation at the city commission meeting next, the next one for the girls.
Ladies, you don't have to stay.
Give them that.
Thank you.
So much. Thank you.
If you've got government, you'll have to have a sign that you were here.
Hey, now is the time that we recognize those who would like to address the board. Would anyone like to take 5 minutes to tell us something?
Madam President, if I may, in this course of our agenda, tonight we will have the third reading of the policy service advisories in terms of response to legislation. And we have discussed the process by which public comment is allowed virtually.
Yes.
And what that statute now requires. And so I want to share that subsequent to us as a board or subsequent to you all as a board taking action this evening on those advisories, that public comment policy or procedure is ready to go. And it is live on our website, federalhouseschools.net, Board of Education, and there's a link there that says public comment form. Individuals requesting or desiring to provide public comment have that form. It's the same form from previous review. My knowledge, we did not receive any emails, public comment this evening.
Will we have those forms if someone shows up at the meeting?
So, Madam President, according to this procedure,
policy?
we can adopt that as per in person. We can have them register in person up to a certain time frame. This current procedure dictates that they have to register 24 hours in advance.
Okay,
So if
Okay.
it's the desire of this board to maintain that, that is what's there. If the desire of this board is to say, look, for in-person, we'd like for that registration to close at 5:45 for in-person, we can make that change to that selection. They have the option to choose in-person, a virtual, or written via email.
we can talk about that when we get
Yes,
to the,
That's correct.
okay. So instruction, take it away.
Madam President, members of the board, tonight I bring to you handbook changes for this coming year. So what I've done is I've put the elementary at the top, and then there's some that pertain to both elementary and secondary, and changes are in red and the strike throughs. So with our change to our class, our hours of the day, we had to add 10 minutes to the elementary early release. Instead of releasing at 1:40, they'll release at 1:50 on Wednesdays, just to satisfy that requirement. School insurance, we actually provide that for all students. It used to be something that they could opt into, but now it's provided for all. And then if you'll notice, we just expanded the verbiage so it would match to include vapes and or syringes. And then just adjusting with expanding our pre-K, anyone who has a pre-K student in Hobbs, regardless of what zone they're in, we offer them a space at another campus. If the campus is full, then they have to transport them, but they are allowed to still attend if they're willing to transport to any other campus that has space. Just change that verbiage. And then for the secondary, the middle school handbook, just making that consistent with the high school. We're just replacing the shaving with maintained, groomed, and neatly trimmed beards and mustache. And for any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Rozier? If there are none, I will, do we have a, is this a motion item?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the elementary and secondary handbooks for 24-25.
Second the motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, now the summer school.
Next
update.
item is just some updates. I'll come with a full report on each of those for August. But again, numbers, we have our summer school offerings. Just some clarification as I reread this, our average total daily at each campus was 200 for elementary, so a total of 400 every day. So each campus had an average of 200. And then our summer academy, got with Ms. Lopez and Ms. Griffin, the average daily attendance was 190 at our 6 through 8. Talking to Mr. Barra today, we have 86 students who received credit for our A squared SI. They took those math courses in 5 weeks and received full credit for those. And we have 542 students who took 1,299 courses, and 911 courses were completed out of those. We'll have one summer graduate to bring to you next month.
Any questions for Ms. Crozier? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Byrd.
Madam President, members of the board, so for your consideration under Human Resources tonight, you have the reports on certified employment for this month. We had 14 individuals that came on contract, either 7/8 or 7/15 for the new school year, in their certified capacity. Then for classified employment, we had 7 individuals come on since the last board meeting with the new year at 7/1. With certified resignations, we ended up having 9 individuals resign their positions. And then we had 2 certified retirements, which we knew those 2 individuals were looking to retire and go off into the sunset. I will tell you, I know I shared with you last month, we were at a +11 of where we had individuals come in versus what is left. And then when I looked at the numbers for since the last board meeting, where we kind of stuck it even. We had 7 leave and we had 7 that were onboarding as teachers. So didn't make any headway there, but we didn't lose any ground.
That's good.
It's always good.
That's good.
So I stand for any questions on those reports.
Any questions for Mr. Byrd?
Still looking pretty good for next month.
I'm
That's
sorry?
what we talked about last month. You're still looking pretty good for next month.
Yes.
As it was.
Yes, you'll have a large list next month.
That's good. The school will have already started.
The next item, which is an action item, is consideration of the employee handbook for 24-25. I will let you know, over the last 3 years with Mr. Young, before he decided to leave out of the department, we've done an extensive overhaul of the handbook. And so just as we looked at it this year, there was really only one change that we referenced under insurance and benefits with Cigna. NEMCA has dropped the Cigna plan. And so all that we're doing there is on our updated information sheet for phone numbers and stuff, just removing Cigna.
Well, I kept looking for changes. Looked.
I read the whole thing. I mean, you could have like put in no changes. I read the whole thing last
Did you
year.
not see
Darn.
the? I'm like,
That's-
well, you know, Mr. O'Brien, I'm impressed that you read it because I try to encourage our employees to read it cover to cover.
It's always good.
I just messed with you.
Okay, are there any questions for Mr. Byrd? Any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So move. Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Oh, we heard you. That's good. Fixing to ask. Okay. Do you remember the operation game?
Yes, ma'am.
Operation. Okay. Showing our age, folks. I'm ready if you're ready.
Madam President, members of the board, I will not use sarcasm with Mr. Byrd now that he pays all of my bills. First item that I have for you is an action item that's the consideration of the MOU with the city of Hobbs with the use of Veterans Stadium for our baseball and softball teams. I will note that this, there is a slight increase in the maintenance fee of that. It's not substantial, but there's a small fee increase. We would recommend passage of the MOU with the city of Hobbs.
Any questions about the MOU? No questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, now tell us, what's going on?
What's going on? Madam President, members of the board, we have the project updates for July. Starting off with Southern Heights. They did a lot of work since I put this together for you guys last week. So some of this has changed a little bit. Phase 2 is now at about 96% complete. Playgrounds have been surfaced. There are some repairs that we need to finish out on those playgrounds. AK Sales has been notified. Make those repairs prior to the beginning of school. Asphalt for the drive and the additional staff parking, that's been completed. AQ Stripe will be back next week to stripe that additional staff parking, along with restriping the one that was just built. We want to go ahead and get that striped. A lot of traffic still continues to go over it. I'll get back in. Drop that as well. Irrigation is completed. They're getting the hydro seed into the ground right now. The only problem with that is we'll have to stay off of it. They have a large playground. They just won't be able to get on grass for indoor punch lists are almost 100% complete at this point. We still need to drill the hose for the volleyball standards in the cafeteria, but other than that, that's figured out. Perimeter fencing is now at 100% complete, so that fence is nuts. So everything. The new middle school and Heiser replacement, later on in the board meeting, as part of the finance section, there is the recommendation for consideration for construction manager at risk. So last week there were interviews and scoring done on 2 companies. There will be consideration later on in the board meeting. I will say that moving forward on August the 8th and 9th, we'll have our department meetings with admin, teacher groups, maintenance, IT, with Park Hill to finalize that final floor plan and begin meeting with your selection of CMAR. And hope is at our August board meeting, we'll Park Hill back here again to give you a project update. Board meeting. Moving on, Jefferson and Sanger is complete. They have power. All of their electrical upgrades have been done. So they're completed over there. I'm going to skip College Lane for now. Intercom at Coronado and Will Rogers is ongoing. Will Rogers should be wrapped up at the end of this week. Coronado still has a little bit of work left, but they should be finished prior to the beginning. Paving and parking, all the striping at all the campuses have been done, with the exception of one that I'll come back to here in a minute. Boiler at Will Rogers, the boiler is in. We just need to set an additional pump, electrical diagrams for that done, and we will set the electrical. Should have that in place well before any cold weather. Ongoing projects, security upgrades. So I talked about that last month to secure more of our vestibule areas, especially at some of our elementaries and middle schools. Water and sewer line at BTW, they've completed the sewer line replacement. Just a couple of items left on the line, but they do have water at BTW. Fire system replacement at College Lane and Stone. We're submitting an application with PSCLC for funding to help with that. About $1 million project. So we should, both of those campuses qualify special projects. So we're making that application. application now. Will take place next summer. Playground replacement, we have the Stone and Coronado quotes. We also have fencing that's taking place over at Stone Edison. And then for next summer, like we did over at Jefferson and Sanger, we'll do the same thing over at Taylor and Mills for complete HVAC and electrical upgrades on those. One other thing that I did not add on this list, because I just got the quote yesterday and approved it, is we'll be doing full window replacement over at Mill. So on College Lane,
My favorite subject.
yes, ma'am. So a little bit of change from the last meeting on the phasing of this. So just got this from Pettigrew yesterday, so could not put it into your board packet. But just a little bit of changes that are going on. Finance man needs to know this, elementary needs to know. But not published. So on the map, I'm familiar with the map. So the white area, the L shaped with the diagonal lines, that's the current College Lane. Down on the bottom in the brown is the west parking lot. So that is what's being completed right now. So that area will be, anticipate paving that on Saturday. Area will be paved on Saturday. Malachi Stripe is here next week in Southern Heights. Parking lot also. College Lane. That parking lot. Got into is, like with any demo you run into. So Ramirez and Sons, visited with them late last week. They did not feel like they could get that parking lot. So what we're doing instead is we're moving to that greenish yellow big lane here, because that's pretty much open field. And what they're going to focus on is getting as far as the turnaround coming back, and we'll tie into the current parking lot as it is. Pulls out. It will take nearly 2 months to do.
Long?
Yes. Summer, as soon as we dismiss for school in May. Parking lot project. Amazing. Good news is that by doing this, next is we'll get traffic off of College Lane all over the. If there's good news, that's it. We will get people off of College Lane into that turnaround, focus again on. Will be a temporary tie-in, like I said, that area here, from the yellow green into the blue. That existing parking lot, the reason why we can't get it done, because it's not just demoing the current parking lot. Up through lanes, up off the pickup areas, as well as additional traffic district parking area, and the widening College Lane. To do that, we've got to tear out the existing sidewalks in front of the building, drive closer to the building. Where we are on our College Lane.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's good our parents' office.
Yes, we want our parents off the streets
Well,
and our kids off.
let
the
me
streets.
rephrase that. It will create a safer environment for our parents and students.
Yes, it will. Okay. Any questions for Mr. Young? Well, thank you very much. Okay, business.
Well, Madam President, members of the board, you have the following items for consideration for this month: the June expenditures and consideration of the investments report.
Okay, we have had our packets for a few days. I trust if you had any questions on the business end of it, you contacted Mr. Byrd. Any questions for Mr. Byrd as we look at, do we want to do this concurrently?
Got all three of them.
Oh, the bids?
And bids,
Yes,
Investments and
yes.
bars. Bids, yeah. Okay,
investments and bids.
it's good to know. Yep, I may not, I probably, no, Joe, okay, never mind, we won't go there. But, you know, milk used to be 3 cents. I'm just saying.
It's now free.
Oh, aren't you funny? If there is no discussion, I will entertain a motion to approve these business expenditures.
Make a motion, we approve the expenditures, investments, and three bids.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Madam President, before we move to the blanket approval, I just wanted to comment that that action did include selecting Bradbury STAM as that construction manager at risk for both the new middle school and for Heiser Middle School's replacement project. So we're excited to get them on board and get them part of that design team. Forward.
Oh,
Thank you.
yes, that's true. I'm gonna toss something out here. I don't know. Alms told us that one of their things was to look over new school plans to make sure that there weren't any overt safety and all this problems.
Okay.
So I'm just mentioning that to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought it would it'd be a good idea to do that. And we're gonna get our band instruments all tuned up for the next marching season.
Yep.
Good.
Last one.
Last one. Oh, man. Okay.
You'll miss it.
Yeah, you'll miss it.
Voice of experience. You'll miss it.
Okay, that's all from you?
The only other thing was the consideration of the blanket approval.
That's correct.
Yes,
And to add some
inside of,
clarification on that, that's an annual thing that we've done, and it allows Mr. Byrd, Finance Office, to make those maintenance and transfer bid bars as needed, close out that fiscal year.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the blanket approve it of inside fund transfers.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Superintendent.
Madam President, members of the board, I have for your consideration the third and final reading of Policy Service Advisories 238, 245. In your packet, I would like to bring your attention to page 340. As we've had these readings the last two previous board meetings, and tonight being the third, gives us an opportunity to review these policies and the adjustments that are proposed. One adjustment based on feedback that I would recommend is our current policy on policy BEDA. That second bullet there, current policy reads district website ;and. Proposed policy really goes back to a former set of requirements that lists all district schools and. So in agreement with what this policy is proposed, we do have the flexibility to strike that sample policy, insert our language that's appropriate to our local condition. So in clarity, I would recommend striking all district schools, ;and, that being replaced with district website, ;and.
I think that's a good idea. Because, those are two very common places for people to go, especially the website, to look for information. Is that something that we need to? Individually, we don't need, we just need to say we're gonna do that, right?
Correct, with that change, yes. In addition to that, this board policy does cover that public comment piece and that provision that we provided to
Yes.
be in full effect beginning in August.
Okay, so we want to make sure our public knows they have a form, it's online. It has to be turned into you, correct? 24 hours in advance.
Yes, ma'am.
And there'll be some people who will be upset about that, who will show up and they will want to address the board. But with this new policy, they are to prepare in advance so that they can fill the form out and get on the list of people who will address the board.
And Madam President, I do appreciate that, and you're exactly right. That does give them that time to prepare their comments. Each step, regardless of which choice they make, whether it's virtual participation, whether it's email, written participation, or in-person participation, it provides those set of decorum and rules and expectations for public comment within this Board of Education. If at some point we would like to revisit that, that is our local policy and we have the flexibility with which.
So, any more discussion on this policy? Not, I will entertain a motion with the caveat that we make the changes regarding website
Motion
and
with the
district
caveat
policy.
to change to the website.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Open Meetings Act.
Madam President, members of the board, item for consideration is our annual Open Meetings Act resolution for 24-25. Just as a reminder, this is really a two-part process. In June, this Board of Education approved our regularly scheduled meeting dates. Those dates feed into our resolution in terms of what is prescribed on our regular scheduled meeting dates. There are no changes to our resolution from prior year, with the exception of being responsive to our current school year, our current year of 24-25.
Any questions about the Open Meetings Act? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
So, Madam President, members of the board, I have for your information, really it says there, Leadership Institute. So at your desks, you have really a printout of the various professional development opportunities and staff development that will be happening over the next series of a couple weeks. First 3 pages, it's not listed there in terms of information, but I wanted to provide that to you. That actually began today. And so our data processing team crafted a secretary meeting agenda and schedule. They began this morning, 7:30. I had the privilege of speaking with them this morning and visiting with that group of dedicated staff members. And you can see those topics covered. You can see the various departments that did contribute to that. And absolutely appreciate the tenor with which Chris Garcia of Data Processing has gone about this agenda and crafting that in line with our district values. See those various district values listed there. And so they will kick it off again tomorrow morning. They've got about a half day tomorrow, and they will close out tomorrow about noon.
Now, if I'm not, let me interrupt you. If I'm not mistaken, we will have 2 secretaries at every elementary, correct?
Madam President, you are correct.
Okay.
This year, budget did allow for the 6 campuses that were sharing a secretary, 1.5 FTE, to hire a full-time. And so every elementary campus has 2 full-time secretaries. And that's reflected in Mr. Bird's report as well in terms of employment.
Right.
The next page there after the secretary is the Leadership Institute, as per the agenda there. And that details for you in a big picture what will happen beginning on Monday, the 22nd with leadership. We will begin at 7:30. Based upon the survey results I got, no one wanted to start at 7. Actually, that wasn't an option, but we will begin at 7:30 on that day. They'll have breakfast beginning at 7 actually, and we'll start with whole group. We'll kick some things off, and then we'll do a data dive in terms of their individual campus data, respective of their last school year and various resources of data that they have access to currently. As you can see, after that, beginning at 9:30, we will divide up into various groups, 4 different groups, and we have rotations associated with that. And that model is something that we've tried over the last couple of years, and leadership has been responsive to that. We enjoy the smaller groups. It allows us to ask more relevant questions. So you can see that there'll be 3 groups that they will attend, or 3 sessions that each administrator or leadership member will attend, from finance and HR to the 90-day plan for elementary or secondary, and then with the operations group. And this is with the lens on what do we need to get started? What do you need to get prepared for when staff come back on the 29th? And let's have a good start at the beginning of the year. On July the 23rd, the second day of Leadership Institute, we'll all be together again. We'll have breakfast that morning, and we will engage in the Capturing Kids' Heart Leadership Blueprint. It's a full-day session that's committed just to leaders and campus administrators. As you all are aware, in response to our circumstances and our students' conditions, as well as our staff's conditions, and we felt it important for the last few years to provide various resources that allowed us to assist students. Some people call that social emotional. Some people call that taking care of kids. We're going to equip staff to be best prepared to provide a great environment for their kids. We've had various models over the last 3 years, and as a leadership team, leadership selected Capturing Kids' Hearts as the model that we will utilize across the district. So we will continue that implementation of CKH across the district. So with that, leadership will engage in our leadership blueprint on Tuesday, the 23rd, all day long. On the 24th, we will pick back up with our sessions. This one will be a whole group, but however, we'll be divided up into our value teams. So as I shared before, each member of leadership is assigned a value team. And that value team is not specific to particular skills and characteristics of that leadership team member. It's a way in which we can organize leadership to have smaller groups that really function as and can function as professional learning communities. Share information back and forth. They can have a critical partner to be able to ask questions of and provide some accountability to. We'll be divided into our groups that day. We'll have breakfast. We'll have some legal updates, updates to IEPs and 504 from legal counsel, have lunch on our own, and then we will jump into continuing our work in professional learning communities planning our work session. Those are the 3 days for Leadership Institute. The next few pages, jumping forward into the next agenda item, would be our Staff Institute. So that following Monday on the 29th, staff return, and you can see in that first table there, July 29th, 30th, and 31st, that's a big picture of what's set to happen during those blocks of time. On the 29th, Campus PD will happen in the morning. The afternoon of the 29th, all district meeting will be held at Tidings. July 30th, district PD specific to grade levels and or subject areas. And July 31st, Campus PD, department meetings and or specials. And in the afternoon, will be devoted to teacher work time in terms of classroom readiness. Next few pages detail for you those individual days and how those are broken out. I would share with you on the 29th at 1 o'clock, absolutely want each and one of you to know that you're invited to join us as an all-staff at Tidings Auditorium. We will spend some time together, and I promise you the speaker will not go for 2.5 hours. He does.
Will the speaker be entertaining?
I can imagine the reviews will be varied.
Okay.
There will be a curve associated with that.
I think leadership should put on
Let's get,
an extravaganza.
we talked about a domino fall, maybe a trust fall, maybe, Doug, you organize it?
Oh, I can do that.
I got you. But we will spend some time together, really that afternoon, celebrating the accomplishments of Hobbs schools in the prior year, from academic to student engagement, celebrations of staff and the successes that staff have had, and talking about what our priorities are and what our commitments are going forward in this next year. The theme will be potential. We all have potential. We'll visually represent that, and we'll talk a little bit about that in more detail. Without going through every single one of those details, you can see July 30th, what that schedule looks like in response to district PD. You do have the elementary and secondary schedules following the page after that. So you can have that level of detail there. July 31st, again, campuses are back in their meetings. It is rather small, and I can email it to you as a PDF. And then that afternoon, classroom staff back in their buildings to prepare their classrooms for what, in my opinion, is one of the most favorite days of school for me personally, is this first day of school.
Yes.
Because I absolutely value and look forward to the potential that kids have and the opportunities that our staff provide. That staff being all staff opportunities. With that, I would stand for questions.
Any questions about the leadership training? Is Ms. Jones still with us?
Yes, I can barely hear you all at times, but I'm here.
Oh, okay. I was just checking. Do you have any questions?
I have no questions.
Okay.
Ms. Jones, I will email you this information so that you have access to it, to review it. We also have your paper copies here at your desk that Terry can hold on for you.
Okay, appreciate it.
Okay, any questions about that? Before we get to everyone's favorite time of the meeting, I want to take the opportunity to thank the board for their professionalism. And I heard some horror stories, the leadership thing in Taos. And the fact that we're willing to work together for the good of kids, I just appreciate each and every one of you. We don't have knockdown dragouts. We don't have to take breaks because people are fighting. And it was scary listening to what some of the boards are going through currently. And I just want to take this time to personally thank you for what you do for kids and for working together as a group, which is what we need to do in order to make our district the best in the state. So thank you very much. Thanks to our staff, too, for preparing us, answering our questions. And if there's nothing else, announcements. I'm sorry, I just jumped right in there.
Providing one of your own.
I was so afraid I was going to forget that.
Madam President, members of the board, I have for your information announcements. We just shared the staff professional learning days on July 29th through the 31st. First day of school, August the 1st. We will have our regular board meeting on August the 20th. And on August the 23rd, we will have a staff professional learning day on that day. And I will share with you at this moment, I would encourage each of you to attend that day. It's going to be special. It will be, I say the full day, the afternoon. We will come together again as a staff, Tidings. Staff members from Capturing Kids' Hearts will be here to provide a CKH live event for us in person as all staff. We're looking forward to that morning. We're still fleshing out what that morning looks like in terms of campus development and district development. The other announcement I have for you is the org chart in front of you for cabinet. As with the retirement of both Debbie and Zeke, we did take the opportunity to restructure a bit. So you see individual buckets there. If we have a better term, maybe since we're Eagles, maybe they're nests. I don't. But you can see learning and instruction in Dixie tonight, being here in her capacity as assistant superintendent for learning and instruction. Human resources and finance, Mr. Byrd, present as assistant superintendent. Operations, Mr. Young as assistant superintendent. Mr. Cantu, present here for school leadership and development. And you see my nest there as well. So with that restructuring, we have shuffled responsibilities and duties and in an effort, make sure we're pursuing better. We want to make sure that that's our focus. See the individual cabinet members listed there. I believe probably next week, I think I'll be able to have the individual nests of their org charts ready, and I'll send that to you.
Thank you. Any questions about the chain of command? Okay,
You ready?
I'm ready.
Vámonos.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed. We look forward to seeing you next time, Ms. Jones.
All right. Thank you. You guys have a good evening.
Thanks, Ms. Jones. Have a good night.
I will be here for the August board meeting. I will miss this.